change forced, are you going to make one or more?
No, we'll just make. We'll bring Boyd into the group of 23, and we'll go from there.
Simple one-for-one replacement.
Yeah, well, we'll adjust what we need to and play what we want to play come tomorrow night. But at this stage, the obvious one to bring in to give us that opportunity to make some decisions is Boyd.
Are you feeling that this game's another one that demands Port prove something?
No.
Like everyone's watching Port, needs to get a scout, get someone ranked above them?
No, I don't. I absolutely don't. I knew that would be the first question I'd get asked, and I'm going to go, you know what, it's part of the qualifying season, it's part of what we need to do. We want to win. It's a massive game. We want to beat Geelong, and as much as Geelong want to beat us. But in the bigger picture, every week is a big game. Every game is a big moment. Every opportunity in the 22 qualifying rounds is a big moment. You need to get as many as you can right. And now there'll be, come at the end of round 22 rounds, there'll be whether you've done enough to get yourself in a position to qualify to play in the finals, and then how high up in the finals you can play. So I don't separate the importance of any game. I find every game incredibly important.
Counter argument is it gives you a great measure of where you're at, particularly while you're saying chasing good to great, getting Geelong scout.
And that's what it does give us. It gives us information that we can deal with, and factual information, and we can go with, okay, we still got to get better, or we still, you know, we're in a. I don't think anyone, whichever team wins tomorrow night, won't sit there and go, we are way better off than we were for September when we haven't even got there yet. It's just not it's not on our radar. It's like, it gives you information, and as you said, rightly point out, the information I get regularly is we're doing some things right, we're not doing everything perfect at the moment, so we've got room to grow. And I would think every team in the competition, regardless of where they position, maybe Melbourne are probably feeling them going okay, but everyone else would be thinking we've got to do something extra.
So what do you feel most challenged by Geelong?
Oh, just their ability. I mean, they're a great team. They've been a great team for a long time, and you know, they're there all the time. They're, you know, one of the clubs everyone admires.
And has it been pretty much business as usual for you with COVID testing and all that sort of thing, or is there any extra layers on that for you guys?
No, it's business as usual for the last 18 months. That's what it is, and we've dealt with you know, some difficulties and some differences all the way through the last 18 months. I should say we appreciate the fact what everyone's doing to make the season continue. I mean, Geelong appreciate the fact that they're doing what they're doing right now to make the season. What team's done last week, what we've got to do after the game. All those things are, you know, they're all a little bit challenging, but they're not that big when we consider it keeps the game going, it keeps everyone involved in the game, and it keeps the community happy to watch footy still. So we all got some stretches, and again, appreciate the fact what Geelong are doing to make this game work.
So there's no extra measure from Lacrosse last week at 19, 48 hours afterwards, nothing like that for you guys?
Yeah, no, we've got to do above and beyond, but no more than other clubs have been asked to do through the last 18 months, and whatever that is, we're more than happy to abide by and do to make sure the game continues. And I think that's, you know, we should take our hats, even I've got one on, take our hats off to acknowledge that there is a little bit extra we've got to do.
Is that it, Ken? Is it just quarantine for 2 days to get you all clear, tested after the game, the same as
Yeah, pretty much basic stuff, which is what everyone's, you know, all the information is pretty accurate with what we've got to do, and that's what it is. It'd be ideal for me. I love staying home.
Do you feel you're loaded up now in defence to deal with Geelong's attacking options?
Not quite.
Stronger there than you did last year?
I think it's an interesting question because we brought a Lear in who's made a difference. We've lost Tom Cleary a little bit at the moment, so you know, we're about where we probably have been. We've got Lockie Jones, a young person down there. We haven't had Hamish in the team, so there's always pluses and minuses. I think we're ready. I think we're capable, and I think we're you know, the Geelong forwards will know they've played on good players.
You have changed the personnel back there, but the defence has held up pretty well, I think, statistically in general. How have you viewed the back line as a group and how they're progressing at the moment?
Yeah, I think you point out that the numbers would suggest we're defending pretty well as a footy team. We're not perfect by any means. We'd like to get better, but backline defence or team defence is all based around everyone being involved together, and that's when you do it absolutely better. And for us, we've still got some room to move.
You mentioned before Woodcock coming into the 23. How likely is it that he's actually the Medi sub?
Very likely. You know, I can't help myself. He'll be the medical sub. Sorry.
That's a game for Miles in?
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. As I said, I was sitting in the room before debating how I was going to explain this to you because we named 22 tonight. We're going to name one out, but no one in. You know, with the way the Medi sub works. So we're going to name Miles in the side tonight.
So what do you want from Miles and what do you think, where's he going to play?
He's He's been an exciting young player. I mean, he's really has been this year. He's done some really good jobs. He's played pretty consistently. He's played a lot of footy already, and he's had a couple of games now. He's been the sub. You've seen last week, he only came on and got a few minutes, and he was able to influence the game. He's an exciting young player, but we just want to see his continued growth.
What end of the ground do you think he plays at?
Sorry?
What end of the ground does he play at?
It might be in the middle.
Yeah.
So he mightn't be at an end, he might be in the middle, but they'll be at all ends of the ground. Miles has got great flexibility. He was drafted as a high forward. He was drafted and he's played as a high back for us. He's also played in the wing. So without giving absolutely everything else that we're going to do, Miles is pretty flexible.
That leaves a question, who you shuffle at half forward?
Again, without giving you everything, we're pretty flexible with our group of players who can go in different areas of the ground. We trained that all through the summer. You would have heard me talk a lot. We wanted players with dual roles and be able to play different parts. We think anyone can go and play in different spots on the ground if we've given them a good grounding, and we feel like we have.
Can we use the mid-season buy? Tom Jones mentioned yesterday there was a bit of a reset and now get going again. Is that how the club is?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because we only had the 10 days, between our last game on the Sunday to playing again on the Thursday, so there wasn't a lot of time in there. But the boys get a chance to freshen up. I think just a week away from footy is also good. You just don't have to spend every minute thinking about it all the time. For the players, I mean, unfortunately for me, I do, but for the players, you just get to freshen up. Just a little break. I think it's it's something in a long term. It does feel like already the season's been going for a while. It feels like it's been, and it's got some more challenges to come this season by the look of it. And so yeah, anytime you get a little freshen up, I think it's good for you.
And how hard has it been to treat Hamish with the respect to dropping him to get it freshen up and making him earn his way back? Is that a difficult decision and process for you?
Yeah, it always is when you've got great people, and Hamish is one of our absolute great people, and he's been with me the whole time. The 9 years, there's not many of them, so I think 6 of them. I think the boys maybe have been here the whole time, and they're decisions you don't take lightly. They're decisions you consider the person, and you invite them into the conversation very early on, and which is what we've done with Hamish all the way through. He's been well informed with with where he's at and what he's been doing and how he needs to get himself back into some form. Great credit to him. He knows exactly what's going on, and he's a great team person to have around your footy club. Let's hope, and we know he will. He'll play well quickly and get himself back in the side.
Is that all it takes? He said in there, the circuit breaker just to freshen up. Obviously, these guys are under enormous pressure, and that he put a lot of pressure on himself to perform at a level that's probably beyond reality. How does that affect the way a guy plays, and how did you help him in that conversation?
Oh no, I think we help him and bring him back to where he needs to be, and that is just be a really consistent member of the team. You don't have to be any more, and that's great, isn't it? Don't you love the fact that they want to be a really important part of the team, and they just need to play their role within the team. And Hammer does that for us more often than not, and has done that for me over my journey. So I've got great respect for him, and we're right in his corner helping him get back into good form so he can be back in our team.
You speak glowingly of him now. Ken, the first question anyone asks us on the street when we talk about this, he's been dropped, he's 30 years old, he's out of contract, is he in trouble for next year? What would be your response to a question like that?
Don't write off great players. It's simple. I mean, we see it all the time. There's some older people in our team alone, Travis Boak, Robbie Gray, who are playing, close to as good a football as they've played. And I think Rob's 33 and Trav's turning 33. And they haven't always had greatest moments all the way through their... Footy's challenging, footy's hard, and sometimes you have some ups and downs. And, right now I've got real confidence that Hamish will find a way back.
Is that something that you point to? It seems in the AFL everyone just keeps looking younger and younger. They want their stars to be 21 years old. Is it something that you point to, the success that someone like Travis has had even later in his career to a bloke like Hamish?
It's a great example of who we're playing tomorrow night, isn't it? Playing a team tomorrow night who have got the oldest team in the competition, most experienced team in the competition. They go and bring in people like Higgins, like Smith, who make them better, and none of them are young players, so there's a model that you need to respect, and the respect is you need to have a certain amount of experience. You like to bring through the next part of your team, but you respect experience, and I always have. I always think that you'd be foolish to try and send off your good players too early or your great people too early, and we're not like that.
Obviously, great to see Zach Bowers jogging again the other day. How's he progressing, and how far realistically?
Yeah, I haven't got a time frame for you. I'm not going to sit here and give you time because that's just dangerous, because he is progressing. That's all I can offer to you at the moment, and you see him firsthand with what he's doing. He'll be out there running around and doing bits and pieces when he's capable of doing that. we think he's improving daily. So that's the only positive I can really give you. Other than we look forward to the day that we can get Xavier back, we can get Zach back, even Jackson Mead, who's had a significant injury, is coming back shortly. We get Scotty Lysett back next. So there's a lot of people that we're looking forward to having come back into our side. But we take them day by day and see where they all end up.
If you could just sit back tomorrow night and just watch the game, who would you want to see a dream matchup on Ollie Wines?
No, I don't. No one on him would be nice. That'd be my dream matchup.
You won't get that.
Why not? I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind Old run around on his own, but Old's got a fair bit he's got to run around with tomorrow night. There's two really good teams. That's what I like, And the dream matchup is Port Adelaide versus Geelong, and it's going to be a pretty good game, I hope.
And not one specifically with him?
No, not with Ollie. I mean, Geelong's midfield, Guthrie, Duncan, Selwood, Dangerfield, Parfitt, Narkle. I mean, there's plenty. So there's plenty of opportunities for Ollie to have a good matchup. I always say that we'll present as many challenges to the Oppo as they will present to us, and at the end of the day, it'll come out to who wins most of the battles.
Just back on defence for a moment, it took a while for him to get a game, but Trent McKenzie, it seems like he's played a pretty valuable role for you in replacing Cleary. How have you seen how he's going?
Yeah, he's played really well in his couple of games back. I mean, we always knew Trent was going to be able to. We had a team that was going pretty well, and we had some tall defenders, as in Tom Cleary, were playing pretty good, Alir and Tom Jonas. So Trent knew that he was in good form. He was waiting and looking for a spot. Unfortunately for Tom, it come at his injury expense, and Trent's taken his spot on the side. I think he finished 5th in our best and fairest last year, so we're not surprised that he's been able to come in and impact the game pretty well.
There are a few Sora boys that were still playing most weeks in the lead up to the bye. Do you think that we see an uptick in form from them with a bit of rest, the Houstons, the Rosies, Burtons of the world?
Oh, we'd hope, but we'd like to think everyone will benefit from a little break, but as will the opposition. A freshen up doesn't, as I said before, a freshen up doesn't hurt anyone. It makes you feel a little bit better. But I think probably 10 minutes into the game, it won't feel like a freshen up. It'll feel like they've been going last week and the week before, and away they'll go again. But a war of attrition, isn't it? AFL footy. It's a massive season, 22 rounds the way we play it. So we look forward to it.
Season too long?
Didn't say anything about the season being too long. Said the games and the length of the games are long and the length of the season are long. That's all I said. And I think the game's a great game though.